Speaking of quality, how about this 2010 San Diego State Aztec football season? And we appreciate everybody coming down. Coach, how are you? First, I didn't get a chance to congratulate you on the win over UNLV to wrap up the season. The way you guys played in the home finale there a couple of weeks ago, maybe it would have been just nice if we could have just flown Navy in and just played the Poinsettia Bowl right after that game. You're just going to continue the momentum right on in. Well,
it's good to see it, Chris, number one. But, our kids finished the year. We made a big point of that. And, our seniors, again, did a great job of leading our football team. And it was good, finish with the win and finish with a little bit of a statement. Now we've got our hands full coming up on the 23rd.
Well, there's no question. I mean, Navy is I don't think we even need to build up how good Navy is. I think people realize that this is another good football team you're playing, 9-3, and they're similar to you. I was looking at Navy. Their 3 losses this year by a total of 14 points. Your 4 losses, I think, a total of 15 points. You guys are a few points away here and there from maybe being 2 undefeated teams. I mean, that's how good of a matchup this is coming up next week.
Well, it really is. And, it's a great matchup. They're a terrific football team. They do a great job of coaching. Their kids play with a lot of heart and desire and a lot of discipline in what they're doing. And anytime you step into the arena playing the triple option, there's a lot of things that can go right and a lot of things that can go wrong, but they're a tremendous football team, and we've had a little time off to heal up a little bit, and also our guys are balancing finals this week and practice and preparation. So it's going to be a lot of fun on the 23rd, and we're excited to be here and excited to have that opportunity.
Yeah, we're ecstatic, right? I mean, folks, our last Aztec Coaches show was supposed to be a month ago, but forget about that. We got a bowl game to get ready for, and it's been a while since we've been able to say that, and it's creeping up on us, about 8 days away. You obviously have been through this many times through the years as an assistant and also as a head coach with Ball State, but it's a little different world, I think, in terms of going from the regular season and the routine that you get set, over the course of 3 or 4 months to a whole new deal with a bowl game. And your kids are going through this for the first time. So it's not like with a Michigan, something like that, maybe where you the season would end and then you tell your guys, okay, guys, it's time to get into bowl mode, and everybody kind of knew what to do. Give us a little recap, kind of take us through the last several weeks since you played UNLV and kind of where you're at in preparation for next Thursday night.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say our kids are ecstatic about playing here in San Diego in front of the Aztec Warrior Nation, and it's a tremendous game for us to play. The thing that, as you stated, it's been, I think, since 1998, since we've been to a bowl game, so there's a big education process that has to go on, not just with our football team and our kids, but our administration and everything else. And so the one thing that we've tried to do and what we're going to do is we're treating this as if we are out of San Diego to some degree. I mean, we're going to practice at our place still, but everything when we have meetings and film and everything, we're going to do in the hotel just like you would if you were playing away. And 2 reasons for that. Number one, to get everybody within our building used to how you approach a bowl game and what you do. And secondly, for those kids, young kids, they'll have an understanding of how we will approach a bowl game and, the different logistics that go along with that and how we want to do things. So, we're trying to handle it in that manner. I think we've had a good schedule. We gave them about 4 days off, and then we've kind of gone every other day, which I think has helped keep us fresh, keep us healthy. We've had 6 practices that we really did a lot of youth development for all those kids who have been reading plays off cards and running our offense, running our defense. Had a terrific competition between those young guys, and so all those things are what we're trying to get done as you educate. And like I said, our kids are balancing that with finals. So There's a lot of different things that go about trying to be successful. We're getting into full game week on Friday. Tomorrow they're off. They'll lift, but they're off, and then we'll really start game week and how we prepare on a normal game week on Friday.
I guess it was going to be a kind of a simple question, but it was what I was going to ask. Is this Friday, being as the game is next Thursday, will this Friday kind of be what you would normally during the course of a season be a Sunday for you? Will you kind of move the calendar like that throughout the week?
Thursday, Sunday, Friday's Monday.
Thursday, Sunday, Friday. Okay, never
and then
mind.
Saturday's Tuesday and Wednesday.
Sorry.
And that's exactly how you do it, though. I mean, that's exactly how your mindset has to be. And we had a lot of experience at Ball State because we played a lot of midweek games on ESPN. And so you just kind of back your schedule up, see how you want to do things and what you need to do. So we've started Navy really yesterday, really getting into what they do and both sides of the ball in the kicking game. It had a real good spirited practice today, which is means that they're chippy with each other already, which is good. So I think, we've got a good plan, and we just got to stay with it.
In terms of your experience with bowl games and again, how you're approaching this one, take us through some of the other events and things that are, going to take place. You got some dinners and you go to SeaWorld. I mean, you got other things that go along with a bowl game, even though, like you said, even though this one's in San Diego, you're going to treat it kind of like you're traveling to San Diego for a bowl game. But do you want your guys to get the full experience of everything? Or are you more inclined to say, okay, we need to show up at certain things, but I want everybody focused on the game?
Well, you want a little bit of both. You want them to enjoy the experience and the reward of, what they accomplished during the course of the season. But as we've said since day one, it's great going to a bowl game, but it's only great if you win it. And so your mindset and, we'll enjoy the activities that are involved with it and take part in those. But at the same time, we do need to stay focused on why we're where we're going to be and why we're doing all these neat things that will be fun for everybody.
All right, that's Aztec head coach Brady Hoke. He's with us from now until 8 o'clock. It is our Aztec Coaches Show special bowl game edition. Of course, the Poinsettia Bowl coming up a week from Thursday at Qualcomm Stadium as the Aztecs will take on Navy. Now, we have a good crowd here with us at Grossmont Center, but I want to let everybody know that's listening here tonight, you might be interested in grabbing some tickets to the Poinsettia Bowl, right? There's already, I believe, over 40,000 sold for this game, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. Next, they're 45 and up, says Mike May already. It's going to be fantastic. But we're going to be giving some tickets to the game away here at Hooley's in Grossmont Center. Now, that's good news for all of the people who are here because they're going to get in a drawing and we're going to have a chance to win some tickets. But if you're listening to the program and you're home or you're tuned in, hey, come on down here to Hooley's, man. Grab yourself a couple of corned beef tacos and get here by 8 o'clock, and you'll have a chance perhaps to win some Poinsettia Bowl tickets brought to you by Hooley's and our friends Quality First Commercial, a full-service commercial real estate firm. Visit their website, qualityfirstcommercial.com. Much more coming up with the head coach of the Aztecs, Brady Hoke. Thank you so much for coming out tonight, everybody. It's great to see everybody as the Aztecs close in on their first bowl game appearance in a dozen years. We'll talk a little bit more with the coach about the Aztecs and also look at the Navy midshipmen a little bit later on. We'll take the mic out in the crowd here, get some questions from our audience for Coach Hoke. It's all still to come from Hooley's Grossmont Center, the Aztec Coaches Show from Learfield Sports and AM 600 Hoke. And welcome back to Hooley's in Grossmont Center, Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill, the official sponsor tonight's special bowl edition of the Aztec Coaches Show. Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill, also in Rancho, San Diego. I don't know if you know that, Coach. That's my area.
Okay.
Out in Ryan Lindley country out there in the East County. Have you been out to the East County?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I know you have.
Sure.
Because you go to all the high schools and do your thing.
Yep.
They got
been to El Cap a couple times. So
you've been out to El Cap a couple of times.
Oh yeah.
What do you like? How do you like El Cap out there?
Well, I think it's a great place of higher education.
There you go. Well, the Aztecs, of course, getting set to take on Navy on next Thursday. And we've had a little time, I think, to digest this Aztec football season. And Coach, I don't know if you had, and I imagine you kind of do, because you look at this thing, and I mean, you're working not only to get ready for a bowl game, but you're also the bowl game gives you an opportunity to, like you said, start preparing even a little bit, get a head start on next year. I'm just kind of curious if we took it through kind of each stage of your offense, defense, special teams, and just kind of your overall review of what you saw this season. And maybe we kind of start with the passing game and Ryan Lindley and your wide receivers. And I know we've talked about the fact that you're going to have to replace 2 great wide receivers next year, but did you get everything out of your passing game this year? And kind of your rating on let's start with that.
Well, I think number one, as a coach, you're never satisfied. So I'll start with that. That we always want to do better. We always want to be more productive. We always want to execute better. But I think Ryan and his improvement as a quarterback in this offense and this scheme, I think he's grown tremendously. I think when you see his movement in the pocket, his eyes being down the field, throwing the football, and I think he's always been a guy who can throw the ball, the long routes or those kind of things very well. But I also think that he's done a nice job with the touch passes and some of those things. So I think you look at that improvement. You look at Vince and DeMarco, and those 2 guys obviously are guys that have a chance, and I would be surprised if didn't play after college, and their development. And, that they've always been talented, but I think when you watch some of the things they're doing with the ball not in their hands and the blocking and some of the things they're doing when you look at route running and those kind of things. And that's, as a coach, you're always looking at it. And their improvement there, I think our offensive line, led by Trask, Iosefa, I think they've done a nice job in becoming a unit. The 5 of them have been pretty healthy. The 5 of them have been able to stay together and play together as a unit pretty well. And I think their improvement is evident in sack totals and running the football. And, the tight ends, I think we are very fortunate to have, Alston, who we think will get a 5th year and come back a year from now. Him getting hurt early and the development of Bryce Quigley, of DJ Shields, and of Escobar are 3 guys that, are very active in our offense. And then the running back situation, Ronnie's had some very good games and some games that haven't been quite as good. And I think as he matures and physically gets better and mentally gets older, he'll be a little more consistent on what he's doing. And, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Brandon Sullivan and what he's meant to our football team in a lot of ways. So, I don't know if you grade them. I mean, I just think that, they've grown together as a unit, and I think there's a lot of accountability there.
Defensively, of course, you are the defensive line coach as well. And Ernie Lawson, I thought, really stepped forward as the season went along. And that's not to take away from the contributions you got from all of your guys shuffling in on that D-line. I thought at linebacker, I mean, you just watch the games. You could see Miles Burris being a guy that just really becoming a superstar, really, as this season went along. And, but overall defensively, from where you started, where you finished up, tell me a little bit about the season on that side of the ball.
Well, if anywhere we got a little bit of the injury bug, it was there, especially down the stretch. We really played without 4 starters if you look at it for the last 3 football games because of how we play all those guys. But, I thought Ernie played his best football, and that's an expectation that we all have for a senior. And I thought his leadership, really helped us as a team. But I also think it helped Ernie Lawson as the player, and that was a positive. BJ was playing well, and Jake have played very solid for us. Inside, I think Neil Spencer has played very well at times, and we've got to get him playing more consistent, and he will, and he'll play tremendous on the 23rd, and Jerome Long made some big strides. A guy like Larry Gibson, who, you had to look in the book. I know you did when he started playing a lot, is a guy, and that's the kind of team we have. One guy goes down, somebody's got to step up. You look at our linebackers. I think Marcus Yarborough was playing very good football until he got hurt in the Colorado State game and was a big part of a lot of the things that we did well on defense. And a guy like Logan Ketchum has been very steady, very consistent. And Miles is a guy who, in my opinion, should have been the defensive player of the league of the year in the league when you look at it from a statistical standpoint. But he didn't win that honor. But I think he's a guy for us in the future that's got to be a big-time playmaker with us. Back in the back end, I think our two corners, Jose and Leon, are two guys that really had solid years and good years. And you look at Jose, who's an older guy and played baseball in the Yankee organization for 3 years. He really did a nice job of being a leader back there and kind of the old man, if you want to call him that. And then some of those guys, Andrew Preston, moving to Aztec was huge for us. And then with Brandon Davis and Darren Lewis and Nat Burhay and Khalid and some of those young guys, Marcus Andrews, who got some playing time, I think, we've got a good future back in the back end.
Yeah, it was a pretty good season all the way around, man. When you start mentioning some of those names and I just kind of start cataloging through and how many of your guys contributed. I mean, and that's, I think, it's got to be very rewarding for a coach to have so many guys be part of the success of a season like this. It's good for the whole team, the camaraderie. Everybody feels a part of it. You didn't just send 11 guys out there on defense this season. You sent about 65 guys out there on defense, and it seems like we called every one of their names a few times. So,
well, Chris, and that really helps your development of your team, and the future of your team, and allows us to play for 4 quarters at playing fast is what we talk about all the time, and playing with great effort. And the other thing, and you touched on it, I think, when a guy knows he's going to have opportunities, he is so much more into what's going on a daily basis and how he prepares and how he gets himself ready to play.
All right, we're at the bottom of the hour here. We're going to get a quick news update for those of you on the radio on AM 600 Kogo. We are here at Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill in Grossmont Center. Have you guys out here got some questions ready now? We're going to pass the mic out here, get some questions for the coach of the Aztecs, Brady Hoke, when we come back. I don't know, maybe we can ask him when we come back what he thought of the selection of the Mountain West Conference Coach of the Year this year. Anybody get that? I knew he was going to shake his head. Well, too bad. We'll ask him about what he thought about being Coach of the Year in the Mountain West Conference. Such an incredibly well-deserved honor by Brady Hoke. And it is the Aztec Coaches Show, special bowl game edition, coming back to Hooley's in Grossmont Center from Learfield Sports and AM 600. And thank you so very much tonight to our friends at Quality First Commercial, Quality First Real Estate, and Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill, the official sponsor of tonight's special Aztec Coaches Show, bowl game edition. Chris Ello along with the head coach of the Aztecs, Brady Hoke. And our great studio audience, our live audience here at Hooley's tonight. And we're going to get some questions from you guys for the coach of the Aztecs. All right, Coach, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I do at least want to publicly congratulate you on winning Coach of the Year honors in the Mountain West Conference. That's no small feat when you consider, I mean, one of the coaches this year went 12-0 and led his team to a number 3 ranking in the nation. And to be honored ahead of Gary Patterson, and I know that these things aren't important to you, and you like to deflect that kind of stuff, but I think that it gives us all a pretty good idea of what kind of job you did. And I know you might take a moment probably to thank all your assistants and everybody else who made that possible for you.
Well, any of those awards are team awards. I mean, from the people who tape our kids and the managers that we have, those guys who volunteer and put the football down and do all that stuff, bring the pads out. I mean, believe me, that is not a single person's award, and so there's a lot of people from our coaches' wives and everything that they put up with, and they do. And I mean, it's definitely a team award, and we're humbled by it. And but we got a lot of work to do, and we're going to continue to work.
Give me, before we get some questions from the folks here at Hooley's, just your scouting report real quick. We know they run the wishbone. We know they're disciplined. We know they're good. I think a lot of us, probably more than most years, watched the Army-Navy game this year, get our own little scouting report on that Navy football team as they come in here. One thing I noticed is that if you go ahead and just load up to stop the wishbone and don't bother guarding down the field, that they have a quarterback in Ricky Dobbs who can throw the ball down the field. That is not your typical Navy quarterback right there.
Well, he's probably as good as any that I've defended or faced within the triple option series offense, about getting the ball down the field, stretching the field with his receivers, his accuracy, his timing. I mean, he is really a total package when you look at running that offense with that kind of football player. And you look at them as a team, they're 7-1 in their last 8 games, so they've really played good football down the end. They've had 8 seasons of at least 8 wins. They're 8 straight bowl appearances. They're a group that's been there and done it and played very good, and they're a group that understands playing in bowl games. They're a group that understands the preparation. They played 2 weeks after we finished, so their timing and the tempo of how they want to play, they've been, pretty much in sync. And, we're basically 7 days away from playing, and so we've got a lot that we've got to finish in our preparation.
All right, Aztecs Navy kick it off next Thursday night. Let's kick off some questions for the coach, Brady Hoke, here from Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill on our Aztec Football Coaches Show. Polly's got the mic over there. Hello, yes, go ahead.
Hi. Coach Hoke, you've done a wonderful job this year with Chuck Long's team. There were some games that we were so close, and we lost to the great teams or the good teams. I'm really excited, and I want to congratulate you and your staff. If you can do this with Chuck Long's team, essentially, what can we expect a year from now?
Well, it's, and believe me, we've had some good football players that were here. And, it's just a matter of everybody develops and has a philosophy that might be different. And, I think our recruiting has gone well. I think there's a lot of young players that are going to be very good players for us in the future. And, I wish I knew what the future held, but that may be a little easier. But, we've got to finish this season first. But I thank you for that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think what he's expecting probably is 36-0 streak to start here next Thursday night, probably.
Well, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, 36-7-0, something like that. Yes, ma'am. In the nice Brian Sipe jersey. Hey.
Hi, Coach. Good to see you.
Good to see you. How you doing?
Good. Now, Thursday night, that's pizza night at the Hoke household. How do you plan on juggling that with an Aztec football game?
Well, if you follow along, Tuesday became Thursday. So we will we'll have some pizza on Tuesday night. That just became Thursday.
Everybody to Coach Hoke's house next Tuesday night for pizza. Did you hear that, Laura? Thank you. Okay, another question for Coach Brady Hoke here. We're at Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill, ladies and gentlemen, for the Aztec Coaches Show. Yes?
Hi, just following up on recruiting, how are the commitments looking for this coming year, and can you give us some idea of some of the focus positions that you're looking to fill?
I think we've had a very good year to this point. Obviously, it's not over. We have 18 guys that are committed. We don't have many more scholarships than that, but there's always some attrition that takes place down the road. But, I think when you look at positionally, we wanted to take a few more backs because when you take skilled players, and on most football teams in high school, their best athlete and their best player usually is their tailback. And by taking a lot of those guys, you're going to have guys that potentially, if they're not your back, they can play safety, they can play receiver. There's a lot, when you have an athlete, you have an athlete. And So that's part of it. We also with wide receivers, we've taken some guys that we think are going to be athletic there. And then probably when you look at it, some linebackers and more specifically some offensive linemen that we think are going to be very good players.
Hey, Coach, if I could just follow up on that question a little bit, and it's probably hard to put it, but when you look at the difference between San Diego State right now and where you guys are in your ascension, and look, the Utahs and the TCU, I mean, programs and the level of those types of teams, what are the differences right now? I mean, in terms of where you're trying to get, and you're on your way, but what kind of has a TCU still a cut above a San Diego State at this point?
I think
that's a fair way to ask the question.
Well, and I know what you're saying, but and my biggest thing is they're used to winning, and they know how to finish, and they know how to win, and we're going through a process to some degree, if you want to call it that. I don't know what else to call it, but that's part of it is your belief, and I can tell you from a year ago to this year. Our kids believe they can win, and anytime they take the field, anytime they're going to play, it's going to be a fight, and they're going to fight till the very end to win.
All right, let's continue with some more questions for our head coach Brady Hoke here. There's a future Aztec right there. Yes, sir.
How do you think? Are you confident in winning the Poinsettia Bowl?
Yes, sir. We are. That's why we're going to play it. This is go to win it. And that's a good question.
That is, man.
Think you're going to go at them when you get out on the field?
Well, you know what? They present some different things to you from an offensive standpoint for your defense. So we've got a lot of work to do there. And then, the one thing we've got to do, and I was asked the same question from a reporter today, do you do anything different? We've got to do what we do and what our kids know how to do, because if you want them to play well and you want them to play physical and play with great effort, they have to know and feel comfortable in what you do.
Can we get that young man's name there real quick? What is your name?
Adam Stewart.
Adam Stewart. Adam, thank you very much. You just got more information out of Brady Hoke asking about a pregame game plan than any reporter I think has ever gotten here. And he's like, so what are you going to do next Thursday night? Normally, if we ask him that, he just tells me, I'm not going to tell you anything. No, Adam Stewart, he'll tell everything to. Thank you, Adam. Good job. Let's get, we got time for a couple of more here on the Aztec Coaches Show. Yes, sir.
First of all, congratulations, Coach, on a great year and your accolades from the Mountain West. I'm kind of looking at the future. You have a 4-year quarterback who's appears to me has been improving every game and is getting scary awesome. And but we lose 2 receivers. What do you see in the wings, or what are you hiding on the sidelines that we can look forward to next year?
And that's a great question. Number one, Nico Sanford is a guy that, number 18, who's really become, an intricate part in what we're doing as a wide out. I think he's growing with every game, his confidence in what he's doing. I think when you look at a guy named Dylan Denzo, who has played sparingly but made some catches in there in third downs, he's a guy who I think can be a very good possession-type receiver. We've redshirted 3 guys that we think all bring something to the table. Azell Ruffin is a guy who is as talented as anybody, and I think he's a guy that will be good. Jay Waddell is another guy who probably would be one of the faster guys we have on our football team and can stretch the field. And then David Lamar over here from Madison is a guy that I think is getting better every time he gets on the field and really understanding what we want to do from an offensive and defensive standpoint.
Wow, I feel better after hearing that answer, too, because I always wonder, as great as DeMarco and Vincent have been this year, boy, two 1,000-yard receivers. And you may not ask two guys to replace that next year. I mean, it may be kind of a group effort because these are two pretty special guys.
Well, yeah, they are. But at the same time, you got to remember, in Al's offense, in our offensive package, the different personnel groups that we can get into, we've got some tight ends that are very, very capable guys. And when you have a guy like Gavin Escobar, who's 6'7", 240 pounds, and can run like he can run, it really presents some mismatches. How are you going to cover him? You going to cover him with a strong safety who's 6'1", or are you going to put a linebacker who may be bigger and maybe not as quick? So there's a lot of different things that I think we can get to in our offense.
All right, we got time for one more question in this segment with the Aztecs head coach Brady Hoke. Yes.
Coach, Carlos Gutierrez,
there he
want
is.
to congratulate you.
Thanks, Carlos.
It's been a long, long time since San Diego's seen a bowl game in Las Vegas. What's the mindset right now with the team? We've got, about a month from the last game, and how do you keep the kids fresh? What's the mindset?
Well, and I really think, Carlos, I think we had a very good schedule. I think, we sat down and looked at it as a staff, and, I've got a pretty good sounding board in Rocky, and I've done things different ways. He's done things different ways, and I think we kind of met in the middle on some things that really have allowed our guys to gain some rest, get back in the weight room in a little more, intense than you do during the season, because you're not working the legs as much and those kind of things during the season. And then I think because of we've gone every other day a little bit, it's allowed us to stay fresh and keep our guys and mentally where they need to be. So I would expect us to play on the 23rd with great timing, play fast, and play together.
Well, I tell you one thing. It seemed like when the season ended, boy, that bowl game was way down the road, but not anymore. Just 8 days away. The Aztecs and Navy in the Poinsettia Bowl. Chris Ello, along with the head coach Brady Hoke. We're coming back to Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill in Grossmont Center with one final segment on our special bowl game edition of the Aztec Coaches Show from Learfield Sports and AM 600 Kogo. All right, let's hear it, everybody. One last segment here, fourth quarter, as we get into the Aztec bowl game edition of the Aztec Coaches Show. Thanks again to our friends at Quality First Real Estate, San Diego's top real estate company, and also Quality First Commercial, full-service commercial real estate firm, and Craig and the gang here at Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill in Grossmont Center, our official sponsor of this year's Aztec Bowl edition of the Aztec Coaches Show. We want to take a moment here before we get a final thought or two from Coach Brady Hoke to congratulate our California Bank and Trust Student Athlete of the Week. Proud to recognize San Diego State's outstanding student athletes in this week's California Bank and Trust Student Athlete of the Week, senior women's soccer player Micaela De Jesus, the midfielder from Dublin, California. De Jesus wrapping up her senior season on the Montezuma Mesa as the Aztecs leader on offense. First team All Mountain West Conference selection, 5 goals and 6 assists, shots on goal percentage, game-winning goals. And this week, Micaela named to the 2010 NSCAA Performance Subaru All-Pacific Region third team. So congratulations to Micaela De Jesus, this week's California Bank and Trust Student Athlete of the Week. Coach, you get 8 more days with this group of student athletes, right? Leading into the bowl game next Thursday night against Navy. Some final thoughts as you prepare for San Diego State's first bowl game in 12 years.
Well, number one, it's going to be sad to see this group of seniors go. It always is, and we've only had 2 years with them, but they leave a lasting impression for what they've done and their hard work and their commitment. And then there'll be some excitement because of we get ready for the next year and that next team. And every team's different. And a lot of that all starts from the leadership of your seniors, the maturity they have, and the commitment that they make to each other as a class and then to your football team. So we've as you know, we've Navy's a team. They average 31 points a game, give up 22 points a game. I think there's a lot of similarities, and you pointed that out, in what kind of season they've had and what kind of season that we've had. They're playing to go win 10 games, and if they do that, that will be the first time in a long time they've done that in consecutive years. So we're playing to win 9 games, which hasn't been done since, I think, 1977. So that's something that we've got a lot to play for. We've got a lot to, stay together as a team and finish this off for our seniors.
Yeah, I think we should just throw this out there just so people get an idea what kind of team you're up against in this Navy team. They're a pretty good bowl team, too. Last year in their bowl game, they played Missouri. Anybody remember Missouri? Sorry to bring it up. But they punished Missouri last year in their bowl game. I don't remember which one it was, the Alamo Bowl or whatever, but it was like 38-14, something like that. So they're pretty bowl savvy. It's going to be a great game. And I know that it goes without saying, but to finish off what has been really one of the great turnaround seasons in San Diego State football history, you want to finish it, turn it around with one more win and go 9-4. So, Coach, best of luck. Enjoy the upcoming week and the preparations. And on behalf of everybody here, we'll see you next Thursday night. Game is around, 5 o'clock? So we got Warrior Walk, 3 o'clock, right? Everybody's got to be out there.
Yeah, the Warrior Walk is going to be starting at the same place, and I think it goes a little differently. I wish I knew, but we're starting it there, and we'll be there, and we look forward to it. And kickoff's at 5:06, so we'll be looking forward to that, too.
Yeah, it's going to be a great atmosphere, 45, maybe 50,000 people. A lot of you guys I know will be there. Thanks to everybody at Hooley's for having us again tonight. Kevin Boyle is our on-site engineer right here. Linda and our promotion gang. Diane Penny, Jeff Belitho. Thank you, Learfield Sports. Kevin Finnerty back in the studio for the coach, Brady Hoke, Crisello. The Aztec Coaches Show. Thanks for being here tonight from Learfield Sports and AM 600 Kogo. Good night, everyone.